Hey, it's everyone's favorite time when our good friend Steven Singer, the I Hate Steven Singer guy, announces his brand new gold-dipped rose color for Valentine's Day. That's right, this year's color is romantic, breathtaking, and unforgettable. Imagine you're on vacation with your sweetheart. You gaze into her eyes and see a beautiful sunset. You're in love. You can with Steven Singer's brand new Sunset 24-karat gold-dipped rose. Picture it, a rose that's perfectly capturing the sunset hues, going from deep purple to vibrant pink, soft orange. There's nothing like it. Nothing like you've ever seen before. Steven's famous gold-dipped roses are real roses dipped in pure 24-karat gold, guaranteed to last a lifetime. They start at just $69. Steven Singer, he makes Valentine's Day shopping easy. The new Sunset Rose is only available at Steven Singer Jewelers. Get yours right now at IHateStevenSinger.com with fast and free shipping. Steven Singer Jewelers, that's IHateStevenSinger.com.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, it is the Anthony Cumia Show. How's everybody? Great, I hope. Did you enjoy your snowy little weekend? And, you know, it's just not like the old days, is it? Where snow is sort of a nice homey thing. Especially in some of these cities like New York with Zoran Mamdani. A lot of complaints coming out of New York as far as him handling the snow. But you get what you pay for. Or you get what you voted for, however you want to look at it. We had a bit down here in old South Carolina. Not bad, but not good. They don't know how to handle things. And you almost have to give them an excuse. Like, look, New York City forever has had to deal with snow and the removal thereof. But down here, they get a little bit of snow. They all lose their minds. Everything closes down. You know, the usual. They don't have the resources. You know, why would they put in their budgets snow removal and sand and salting the streets and all the vehicles they need for that when it barely ever happens? So when it does, they're pretty ill prepared. And I went out in it yesterday. It snowed about, I don't know, maybe 6-7 inches here. But it was very icy, and the roads were terrible. Anyone that lives down south and gets a snow or ice storm knows the deal. They just don't, they're not able to handle it. So it was incredibly slippery driving and even walking around the sidewalks and everything. But it's melting pretty good. Not too bad. That's the good thing about the South. Even in the winter during the days, it usually gets above freezing and starts melting this stuff pretty quickly, but not up there. New York, Boston, Philly, D.C., you guys are in some cold weather up there, and that I do not miss. What do we got? Anyway, I hope after next Sunday's the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. And I hope we can get back to what's important on Sunday, me, this program. I know some of you sneak away to watch the football games over the football season. But, we're free tonight and then Super Bowl next week. I don't know, Seahawks, Patriots? I have not been paying attention. I do not care in the least about football. I used to. I think all professional sports have gotten way out of hand with all the nonsense of late, especially those previous 4 years under Biden, even before that during the Obama administration, and then even during Trump. I mean, all the nonsense you see, the players and owners, and they get in trouble for saying things, and they paint things on the field that are worthless. It's nonsensical. So I really don't bother with football. I do know who's in the Super Bowl. I scroll through social media, and it looks like maybe the New England Patriots, world champions, Super Bowl New England Patriots shirts are going to be all over the dark continent of Africa after next week when they get trounced by the Seahawks. I guess. I don't know. But it's good for the impoverished nations of sub-Saharan Africa where the little kids get all those championship jerseys and shirts that were printed up for the team that, didn't quite pull it off. So looking forward to that, seeing those little kids running around in those wonderful NFL shirts. And then the Grammys. Look, I hope I didn't remind you, and now you're going to tune away from my show to turn on the excitement that is the Grammy Awards. But I've said it many times, award shows are the dinosaurs of the entertainment industry, of television. These should be extinct by now. They're struggling in the tar pit of entertainment. No one cares. The only people that seem to care are the ones getting the awards. It's this self-congratulatory circle jerk, I guess you could call it. And no one cares. No one cares about them patting each other on the back. And it is worse. Like that's one award show, the Grammys, that really becomes useless the older you get. And I don't think really a lot of younger people that are interested in whatever music they're giving awards to, I don't think they care about the Grammys as much, because that's kind of a unhip thing as far as music goes. So I don't know who's watching. But like all the other award shows, I'm sure the ratings are down, and no one really cares. The red carpet, I saw some clips on social media where these musicians, man, they got their little buttons on. Get rid of ICE. Oh, we got their good, pretty and good buttons, and they're getting some mic time on the red carpet to talk about ICE and deportation. And, oh, God, no one needs your opinions. The out-of-touch musicians and actors, actresses. Jeez, just, I don't know who's watching that, but if you feel the urge to switch over, jump out a window. What can I tell you? I started off telling the New York audience about the snow problem with Zoran Memdani. He hasn't really done his job. His first job as mayor, really, is like, oh, my God, there's a snowstorm, and we need to make sure we get this taken care of. A lot of responsibility, a lot of delegating responsibility to your various agencies, and fail. Just a fail. And this could have something to do with the $12 billion deficit that New York City has. $12 billion in the hole. $12 billion they don't have. This is just for New York City, by the way. This isn't the state. $12 billion deficit. And amazingly enough, it's just about the same amount of money that Mayor Adams said they would burn through housing, clothing, and feeding illegal aliens in New York City, which they had done for many years. And even Mayor Adams realized that this was something that was unsustainable. You just can't do this. There's not enough money to take care of all these people that are contributing nothing. They're a burden, and you're putting them up in hotels, and it's costing money. And Adams at one point said this is unsustainable. It's going to cost $12 billion. And he was then summarily kicked out of the Democrat Party. If you remember that, he was persona non grata for telling the Biden administration that New York is going broke. Cannot do this. And now Mamdani gets in there with all of his pie-in-the-sky free buses and grocery stores and all that other fun stuff. And he's $12 billion in the hole right from the get-go. So maybe looking over some of those books, he realized maybe I could cut a few corners here on snow removal and trash removal, not put out as many trucks, not give people the overtime, kind of rein in that budget a little bit. But he still talks about free childcare and fast free buses. But you guys up in New York City are sitting there surrounded by mountains of snow and garbage. And there was something, a post that came up right before showtime. It's a guy, he's on a bullhorn at Gracie Mansion, the residence of the mayor of New York, Zohran Mamdani, and he's yelling in the megaphone, "Hey, we supported you. We voted for you. We believed in you. What did you do? You're screwing up. You're not doing what you need to do." So not even a month, or about exactly a month, I guess, from his swearing in on New Year's Eve, there are already supporters yelling at him because they can't get around. The garbage is piling up. I mean, the only saving grace is that it's 9 degrees in New York, and the rotting isn't really taking place in the garbage. The smell, because there have been garbage strikes that have happened in the summer, and that is a whole nother kind of nightmare. So they don't have that part of it, but it's a small consolation when you open your door to your apartment building or what have you, and there is a mountain of garbage, and then behind the mountain of garbage is a mountain of dirty snow, and perhaps your car is still buried in that dirty snow because the few plows that did come through, well, they just threw the snow right into your driver's side door. So there you go. There you go, Mamdani supporters. His first mission, his first important task as mayor of New York, and he completely dropped the ball. Good luck with the next 4 years of Zohran Mamdani. All right, we are just now getting started with this show. Let me pop that up so I get a good view of the phone number. There it is. 800-848-9222, because perish the thought we don't take your opinions with your phone calls. Give us a call, whatever you want to talk about. We're going to be going into, of course, the insane allegations that have come out of these Epstein files. I got some theories about that. The clown of the week, I guess we could pop the clown of the weekend next. Another celebrity. I'll let you wonder who it is because there are always so many every week that could qualify for Clown of the Week. And more liberal insanity coming up next. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and right before we delve into Clown of the Week, there's a clip here I wanted to play in that last break. It's Hochul, Governor Hochul of New York. And remember Mamdani talking about how he's going to tax the wealthy, tax the rich. That's how you buy your way out of a $12 billion deficit for the city. And whoops-a-daisy, it seems like Governor Hochul isn't on the same wavelength as Mayor Mamdani. So she was asked just the other day about raising taxes on some of the wealthiest of New Yorkers statewide. And she is, and reasonably so, petrified that even more wealthy New Yorkers are going to get up and leave, because that has happened. That has happened. Let's listen to Governor Hochul.
So Mayor Mamdani has said that he doesn't think that wealthy people and corporations would actually leave if their taxes go up. Do you disagree with that?
It's not a gamble I want to take because we're already down about $13 billion in revenues from people who did leave our state. And when asked, many of them do complain about the taxes in New York, something I'm trying to do something about.
Are you? You know, I'm no fan of Governor Hochul, but truth be told, she's right here. Like, she knows there's a fine line between affordable and not affordable for everyone. Doesn't matter if they're considered rich or not. And there's already $13 billion in lost revenue from people that have left the state. And what is she supposed to jack up taxes on those people to pay for his insane commie ideas? Yeah, commie. So, yeah. Well, I don't like Governor Hochul. She doesn't seem to be in line with a lot of what Mamdani wants to do. Maybe the only saving grace for New York is that he won't be able to do a lot of the things he wants. The money's just not there. And that brings us, of course, to Clown of the Week.
The Anthony Cumia Show presents the Clown of the Week.
Oh, yes, every week. It's just a chore pawing through all of the celebrities and politicians and jackasses to try to figure out who could be Clown of the Week. This one just came in under the wire because he's short. Peter Dinklage. I'm a fan of the work of Peter Dinklage. Just a great little, great actor, great little guy. That's got to suck. He's really the only little guy, like that's what they call him, right? Oh, little people. That's just, hey, he's a little guy. A little people guy that is a serious actor. And I hear he takes himself very seriously. There have been some other little people who have come across Peter Dinklage in bars and out on the streets. And when they want to talk to him, he seems to really shun the little people. I think it's a reminder that even though he is a good actor and he's won awards and accolades from the people, he's still kind of, the little guy. So here he is. He decided to get in front of some people with a microphone and recite a poem about Renee Good, the woman that was shot by, I guess, ICE, Border Patrol agents, while she was driving her SUV toward them. So here's Peter Dinklage. Just soak this in, if you will, people.
This is a poem by Amanda Gorman called for Renee Nicole Good, killed by ICE on January 7th, 2026. They say she is no more, that there her absence roars, blood blown like a rose. Ice wheels flinched and froze. Now bare riot of candles, dark fury of flowers, pure howling of hymns. If for us she arose, somewhere in the pitch deep of our grief, crouches our power, the howl where we begin, straining upon the edge of the crooked crater of the worst of what we've been. Change is only possible, and all the greater, when the labor and bitter anger of our neighbors is moved by the love and better angels of our nature.
He's being all dramatic, too. Our nature.
Death and void, we know his breath and voice.
Oh.
In the end, gorgeously endures our enormity.
Enormity?
You could believe departed to be the dawn, when the blank night has so long stood. But our bright
there's
angels
more.
will never be fully gone.
Gotta catch
when
his breath in
forever
those tiny
are
little
so
lungs.
fiercely good.
They're applauding because it's Peter Dinklage. Let's be honest here. No one cares about the dumb poem. He didn't even write it. Someone else, some other dumb liberal wrote it. But all these celebrities, they're so overdramatic, aren't they? Let me recite a poem to you people. Hickory dickory dock. This chick was... That's the only poem I want to hear. Oh, Jack and Jill went up the hill. That's it. Oh! Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Gosh. Peter Dinklage. Of course. Like I said, it's quite the coincidence that every one of these Hollywood jackasses all have the same ideology. Politically, socially, it just really seems like, there would be a mixture, a diverse ideology in every line of work. That's all it is. They work in the entertainment industry. They're actors and actresses, and anywhere I've worked, there have always been people of different ideology, liberal, conservative, whatever. But Hollywood, it's all not just liberal, far left lunacy liberal. And if you ever say anything that isn't in line with that agenda, they will throw you out of Hollywood lickety-split. And you really gotta think about that and wonder why that is, how that happened. If they are really all like that, do they really all believe this? Or do they go back to their estates, lock the door, go into a special room, a soundproof room that they had built on their house, and just yell about what a-holes their ilk is, and criticize things and people and policies that they have to say that they like and are 100% for. And then they could pop out of the soundproof room and go about their business and not quite lose their minds. Because I just can't imagine they all have this ridiculous mindset. Far left. They lie. Politicians, too. We got some stuff from Governor Walz where he's just blatantly lying about things that have happened involving ICE. They're murdering people in the streets, gunning them down, kidnapping children. What? Are people making you say this? Maybe they are. The Epstein files came out. We're going to look into some of these just insane allegations. Coming up next. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And we could take a phone call. Let's see who's around. Vito, Staten Island. What's up? How you doing?
Hey, Anthony, how are you, Anthony? Thank you for taking my call. I just want to say that Mandami has now been reduced to nothing more than an activist mayor. He's going to be spewing more and more Marxist rhetoric, shouting power to the people, and people are going to, they're going to fall for his crap even more.
Yeah. And it was all agreed upon and voted for by the citizens, the overwhelming majority of New Yorkers who voted for this guy. And I don't get it. I don't get how they're complaining now.
Well,
what happened?
If I may say, I have a daughter-in-law. Her family, they are Muslim. Not a single one of them voted for him. Mm-hmm. Not a single one.
Yeah,
I'm going to say
that. Well, there's a lot of people that didn't vote for him, that don't like him. Somehow he won. And it wasn't even really close. Once this guy got,
Fruit Loops came out and voted. That's the problem.
Once this guy got a little traction, when he started going up in the polls before the election, it was over. He took off, got the lead, and never looked back. That was it. So, I think it was legit. I think it was legitimate. When I walk around New York City, there's nothing in the people that I see that lead me to believe that it was stolen, and not the morons that walk around that city that elected this guy. I completely 100% agree that they voted him in, and they're going to pay for it. And they'll just vote another liberal dummy in again. I don't think New York will ever see another Rudy Giuliani.
No.
Unfortunately.
No, we won't. Giuliani was a very unique individual as mayor. And I have to say, David Dinkins and Adams both could have been great mayors like Giuliani, but instead, they voted, they ran the city, how can I say it, with their agendas, anti-white or whatever you want to call the agenda. Yeah. There's a black guy in charge now, and you know what, we're going to do it my way. All right, well, here, go ahead.
Well, I couldn't see de Blasio being good. I mean, that guy was almost as much of a commie, if not more, than Mamdani is. So I don't know, man. But Vito, thanks for the call. I don't know if I could hang up on Vito. I don't have a prompt for the X here, so Vito's just going to have to be my co-host. There he goes. I guess the people up at home base up there didn't want Vito to be my co-host. I'm just looking for this this George H.W. Bush allegation. These are insane. So the Epstein files come out, and everyone's waiting for them. The Democrats have been using the Epstein files as their battle cry. Anything that happens now, anything Trump has done, picking up the Venezuelan president, everything, all the things he does now, they say it's just cover. It's covering up the Epstein files. Why won't he release them? And then he releases some of these files, a lot of them. We don't even know how many there are. So when a lot get put out by the Trump administration, it's like, is that it? But apparently it's not. So I was looking over some of these things, and here's my take. I think that they have so much insane, ridiculous allegations going on in these files that it has muddied the waters and made the entire thing just ridiculous. There's no confidence. People don't have any confidence in these files that anything in it is true or false. Is some of it true and some of it's fake? Are the ridiculous allegations fake? And then, he took a plane ride but nothing else. Is that true? No one knows. And I assume it's planned that way. I assume that too many powerful people are involved in this, and a lot more involved than just the horrific parts about sexually abusing underage girls. I think this goes into money laundering and other things that are that really, on a global scale, affect us politically. And so I think they put in some of these insane allegations about some very powerful people in order to discredit every single allegation. Now you can't look at, all right, Clinton went there a lot. He may have done this, that, or the other thing with women. And then you see something that's so insane, like out of a movie insane, that you go, well, how can I believe the Clinton stuff now Like, why is that the truth? Because it's not as crazy as the George Bush stuff, which, like, who knew? George Bush's name, they're talking about H.W., the older Bush, by the way, is in these files, and it's stuff that's just crazy. You could not possibly have imagined that George H.W. Bush would be in the Epstein files, nonetheless in such crazy context. So here's one. This is an interview with a purported Epstein victim. And here's another thing. These purported victims this isn't testimony under oath. This isn't allegations that are made that are going to lead to some arrest, an imminent arrest. These are people that called a tip line. They went to police. A lot of them are mentally ill. They're on drugs. They have a past of lying about things, having these delusions that they're being stalked by celebrities or politicians. So they're not the most credible people. But to throw all of it into one basket and go, here are the Epstein files, it discredits every single allegation. You can't just pick and choose now which ones you're going to believe and which ones you're not going to believe. They're just a bunch of files, a bunch of written words that came from certain sources that have no real credibility. So if you're on the left, you're going to want to pick and choose the people on the right that are being accused, and vice versa if you're on the right. Does that mean you're right? Does that mean the ones you want to believe are the true ones? No. When a judge charges a jury after all the evidence is in and they're going back to the room to deliberate, a judge will instruct the jury that if a witness has found to be dishonest, was found to have been dishonest, lied on the stand, you are allowed to discount everything that witness said. If they lied about one thing, you could throw away everything that witness said. You're not obligated to, but you can. In your deliberation, you could go, okay, this guy lied. I'm not going to believe anything he said. Well, let's look at these Epstein files, and if some of them are blatant lies, then how do you distinguish that lie from what is true? What are you going to do? Say, well, this one doesn't seem as crazy as that one. Does that necessarily mean it's true? Oh, I like that guy more than I like this guy. Does that make it true? No. This was a brilliant way to just destroy any credibility any of these files might have had. And it's exactly what a power base of people would do to give the public this impression that it's a lie. Plausible deniability. We always hear that one. And now you really can't put any credence on anything that comes out of these files. Sorry. But they're fun to read. Here's one, this purported Epstein victim. August 28th, 2019. So again, it's just not even that long ago. These aren't allegations from, these people are just saying, oh, this happened a long time ago. I never came forward, but I want to sully the water. So here's what he said. I'd like to add a few other points disclosed by the purported victim. While on this yacht, he witnessed African-American males having sex with white blonde females, all of whom were, let's just say, they were losing some of their vital vino, you know? What happens when you get a cut? Yeah. During the act, they were bleeding. He was a victim of a type of ritualistic sacrifice in which his feet were cut off with a scimitar. Hassan Chop! Hassan Chop! Remember that, Bugs and Daffy?
I should have made a left turn in Albuquerque.
So they cut his feet off with a scimitar, but left no scarring. That's interesting. On the yacht, he witnessed babies being dismembered. Disembowelment is discussed. And individuals eating the waste product. He was also apparently sexually assaulted without his consent by George H.W. Bush. It's like, could you imagine you're walking around this yacht seeing all this stuff and just, victim disclosed he was escorted to the FBI building by Michael Moore, who is the creator of True Pundit, described by multiple online sources as a conspiracy-driven news website that attempts to paint the FBI in a bad light. Moore has a criminal record as a result of an FBI investigation, copyright infringement. Let me know if you want to discuss the former FBI agent that called this into the head office. That is an insane allegation. That is utter and complete madness. Did not happen. Now, there are some people that I've seen responding to some of these allegations that believe it. Because it's one of those great conspiracy things. I told you there was an Illuminati and they're sacrificing children and they're a death cult and this. Now, I don't know. Maybe there is. One thing I've learned in the past few years is I'm not going to be definite about much of anything. This I can pretty much put at 99.9% definite that George H.W. Bush wasn't involved in a sexual orgy where people's feet were being cut off with big Arabian Nights type swords. But maybe there is. You know, the Hollywood is pretty debaucherous, and Washington is also. And maybe there is some type of cabal or cult in those little societies where weird things are happening. But these are the rantings of a lunatic. George H.W. Bush. And then they're like, he was in Skull and Bones. I bet it happened. I don't know. I don't know about that. But there's something else here. Let me get to this real quick. These are great. Interview of purported Epstein victim. Here he is. Whoever his name is, that's who's saying this. He stated he was unemployed and resides with his mother and her unemployed, morbidly obese boyfriend. So you can almost conjure up an image of the guy making these allegations. He stated he has ingested hallucinogenic mushrooms as well as other illicit substances in the past and currently smokes marijuana. He reported being sodomized by his great uncle. Doesn't sound so great to me. Since the age of 5 until the age of 22. Described meeting Epstein at a yacht club. His relatives were members of the yacht club, first at age 5 and later at 8. He was also sodomized by Epstein in the year 2000 and on a large yacht, as well as by former U.S. President William James Jefferson. William Jefferson Clinton. So this guy, let's see, Epstein, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, states that also current President Trump was with his wife Melania, and they were present during the yacht trip in 2000. Reports that while being sexually abused by Epstein and Clinton, he was on heavy drugs. Stated that the above incident were recovered repressed memories Oh, he began therapy sometime in 2016. So he didn't have any recollection of this until 2016, where through repressed memory recovery, he started coming around and realized that, he was being sexually assaulted by the Hall of Presidents in Disney. Maybe that's what happened. His parents took him to Disney. One of those perverts in a Goofy uniform sexually assaulted him at the Hall of Presidents, and he just got it a little mixed up. And then a pirate got me, and then these little Asian kids singing a catchy but annoying song also sexually assaulted me. Offered no supporting or corroborating evidence or witnesses that could be contacted. Appeared to be emotionally unbalanced. At the time, it is not recommended that any additional investigative resources be expended concerning this man's claim. So, the files are packed with this type of nonsense. People that came forward after Trump was elected for the first term, some of them during the Biden administration, some of them during the new Trump administration. And if we're looking at past history, you can look at the fact that how many women come out of the woodwork? No one ever said a word about Trump. He was always, he likes his blondes. He's a womanizer. It was cool because he's rich and powerful and always had arm candy with him. But none of these sexual assault allegations came out until he decided he wanted to be the president. Then all of a sudden, all these women out of nowhere. Was that repressed memories too? It really is insane. Back in a minute.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And talking about the Epstein files and all of the people that are involved, celebrities, politicians. There was a real picture. A lot of AI is making the rounds, too, with Epstein in the company of celebrities and politicians, and some of them are real, some of them aren't. There's one of Zoran Mamdani as a child and Zoran's mom, and they're standing there with Epstein and Clinton, and that one is reported to be real. But again, there's so much garbage and disinformation out there that no one really knows what's true. This is a perfect storm of AI, of the country being so divided that they're willing to overlook blatant lies because they just want to get one over on the other side and try to topple their guy. So no one really knows what's going on. And as far as the Trump allegations go, here's some things that were in the files. Reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform, that type. The type of sex that entails knee pads on Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. Again, this is coming from a tip line. This is what the people that were taking these calls said. Spoke with a caller who identified this other person as a friend. The lead was sent to the Washington office to conduct an interview. These are just tips coming in on a telephone line that they put up for Epstein. 35 years ago in Jersey, the friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit Donald Trump while performing this act. Ouch! The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend said she was also abused by Epstein. And these things always pan out to anonymous tip, people that have psycho problems. I mean, that's a crazy allegation. But the left will want to believe it. So it will be true. They'll leave out all the other parts of the file that says this is has no credibility, no witnesses, the person didn't come forward. It's literally a friend of a friend saying this. So it wouldn't even be admissible in any court of law. But on a tip line, they're like, this came in. This one reported that she has a friend who is a personal assistant to Epstein in Florida from 86 till 91 or 92. This friend shared names of some of the guests at Epstein's parties, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. This was 2 voicemails that were left, no response received when they tried to call back. What's this one? Age 16, modeling in New York, caller attended 8 parties at Epstein's New York residence. On one occasion, caller reported sexual assault by Epstein. On another occasion, 2 twin brothers, Alan and Orrin, lured the caller and her friend upstairs, but they escaped back downstairs. Caller stated that Orrin then sexually assaulted her best friend. Let me see here. Her best friend and a third brother, Tal, sexually assaulted a 14-year-old girl. Caller named other individuals involved in big orgy parties. Other young girls, and older Victoria's Secret models, and Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Online complainant reported she was the victim of witness to a sex trafficking ring at the Trump golf course in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, between 95 and 96. I read that Donald Trump didn't own that golf course between 95 and 96. Complainant reported Ghislaine Maxwell as the madam and broker for the sex parties. And then they wrote, complainant was spoken to and deemed not credible. And people are still going around just spreading this around, going, see, Donald Trump. See what Trump is? He's crazy. He's an animal. He's a pervert, rapist, pedophile. And how are you proving this? With files that they're literally saying this is no credibility. This has zero credibility to it. Complainant claims to have video of high-profile sex parties dealing with cartels and having witnessed Robin Leach, remember him, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, strangle a young girl to death at the party. Oh, my God. Oh, champagne, what did he used to say? And caviar dreams. Yeah, that's a pretty hefty allegation. Some girls went missing, rumored to have been murdered and buried at the facility, at the golf course. Complainant reported being threatened by Trump's then head of security, that if she ever talked of what went on there, she would end up fertilizer in the back 9 holes like the other, and then a very, very bad word to say about a woman. So, if you want to put any credence in any of these Epstein files, then you have to somehow figure out what differentiates them from that. And good luck doing any of that, because they're all just mixed in together, and who knows. Back in a flash. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and We're talking about a few things tonight, especially the Epstein files, which a lot were released, and what people are making of it. Oof. I also want to clear something up. I was talking about that photo that reportedly showed Zoran Mamdani and his mom, along with Epstein and Bill Clinton and stuff. I was using that as an example of AI and what people are passing around and believing. It's gotten to the point where we don't know what to believe anymore. People are getting fooled very easily by just the still pictures and the videos that are out there. So we're living in dangerous times as far as information goes, because it has never been easier to fool a lot of people. And people that want to believe something will gravitate toward misinformation and disinformation just to validate their beliefs because they want to. So I don't even know what to do anymore. I don't even know what to tell people anymore. Hey, you got to look out. You got to be careful. Look out for what? No, not everyone can be an expert on what's AI and what isn't. It used to be kind of easy. Oh, that woman's got 7 fingers on her right hand. It's probably AI. But that's what we're dealing with. Very difficult. And then, as I was talking about all of this blood and guts and some of these crazy stories of sexual deviancy and murder, dismemberment, it sounds very far-fetched. And then I during the break, I'm scrolling through X, and I see this. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche just admitted the DOJ excluded images showing death, physical abuse, or injury from today's Epstein file release. Let that sink in. That was yesterday. The government is acknowledging graphic evidence exists and chose to withhold it while redacting names tied to Epstein and his powerful associates, including Donald Trump. They got to add that in, but, it is what it is. And then this one, this is weird. Some guy made a video here, breaking from the Epstein files. Redacted photos show 2 pieces of chicken. They're 2 chickens and then chicken legs, and what looks exactly like a tiny baby's leg or foot in the middle. It's been redacted. I can't see it. I see the chickens in the picture. Why redact plain chicken? Other documents mention cannibalism. Witness testimony mentions cannibalism. These monsters are sick. Time to drain the swamp for real. No more cover-ups. So, as I sit here and try to say that the more insane allegations that are made are probably not true, I'm being shown these posts and pictures and the DOJ head saying that, yes, some things were definitely taken out of the mix there. So what do I know? What do I know? What do we know, people? Do we know everything? Is everything we get from the government we're supposed to go, oh, okay, that must be it. Here's a guy that's posting on my X, Anthony Cumia on X. I posted something right before the show saying that tonight at 8 p.m. we're coming on and doing the show. So if you want to post any observations, questions, anything under that post on X, feel free, and I'll scroll through it. But one gentleman here, RGZ Mac, he says, Anthony, I don't know what it says in the Epstein files about George Bush, but everyone's always known that he's been a PDF file. Get it? And his freaking wife was probably a man for number 2, and I'm a hardcore conservative. Always have been, always been a thing with Bush and kids. See, so people are willing to just throw this stuff out there, and I don't know. And then here's Jeffrey Epstein's an email from Jeffrey Epstein talking about Trump, saying, I've met some very bad people, none as bad as Trump, not one decent cell in his body. So, yes, dangerous. That was supposedly from Jeffrey Epstein himself. Imagine Jeffrey Epstein calling you the worst human being on earth. That's, ooh, maybe you should do some self-reflecting if Jeffrey Epstein thinks you're a bad egg. We'll take calls and probably diddle around with the Epstein thing. But I want to get to another one of these great celebrities. We know her. We love her. We talk about her a lot on this very program. Rosie O'Donnell. That's right. You may remember only a few days ago, maybe a week, Rosie put out a video saying she is done with Donald Trump. Done. Will not be talking about him anymore. I guess she went to her therapist, and, you know, the therapist said it's not healthy for her to talk about Donald Trump as much as she does. It's not good for her, her family, whatever it may be. She was sworn off Donald Trump. Well, here's Rosie talking about Donald Trump. Yes, her latest video that she put out is indeed her talking about the man she said she would not be addressing anymore. Let's listen what this edition of Rosie's Trump derangement syndrome has to say. Rosie?
I don't know. It's very overwhelming, and everything that's happening with ICE and the concept that they're trying to incite the public to respond in a way that would justify martial law, therefore closing the elections in November. That's their ultimate goal, to stay in power. Right. And they don't listen to what the judges say anyway. So are they ever going to leave? I don't think he would have built that big ballroom if he thought he was going away in just a couple years. But, you know, everyone has a time that their time's up, and he does not look well, is all I can say.
And you look great,
He doesn't
Rosie?
look well. Who knows what's going to happen, but very unnerving. I can't imagine what it's like to be there in the midst of it. Because even here in Ireland, all this way away, it's still overwhelming to me. You know?
Yeah, to you, because you're obsessed.
Absolutely overwhelming.
Yeah. Because you're obsessed with
Truly.
Donald Trump.
Hold, please. Did I talk about heated rivalry? I think I went on to something else. I'm like ADHD ping pong. Boom, 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 boom.
You're a mess.
You know? People that I've been with have said to me, how'd you get there? How'd you get there? And then I try to go backwards and see how I did get there, you know? Anyway,
Doesn't she just sound miserable? Every time she talks, it's just this low, gravelly, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, they're probably just not going to do the election. He just wants to stay in power. Really? Do you think really? There was a supposed insurrection. Remember the insurrection that Trump was trying to stay in power? How did that end? He vacated the White House at noon, before noon, on Inauguration Day, as per the Constitution. And back then they were going, he's not going to leave. He wants to stay. He'll never. He lost. He doesn't think he lost. So what he's going to do is stay in there. And then he left. And he sat for 4 years while they tried to put him in prison and tried to kill him. And then he gets in again. And there's Rosie. Oh, this time, though. This time he's not going to want to leave. I know it. They want martial law. Penny Marshall law. A good friend of mine, Penny Marshall. What does she think he's going to do? He did 2 terms. He can't do a third. He's not going to do a third. I think at this point he's doing as much as he can without even with all the roadblocks that have been thrown in front of him. The judges say things he doesn't even. He says he doesn't even listen to the judges. Listen to the judges? Who isn't listening to the judges? By the way, not activist judges, the Supreme Court. How about that? When the Supreme Court makes a decision, and these states and these governors and mayors and police and everyone else, congressmen and senators, they go, yeah, we're just not going to do that. We're not going to. Oh, the Supreme Court said that Trump is well within his presidential right to get ICE out there and gather up illegals and deport them. Oh, you have a sanctuary state. Oh, you're not working with ICE. Oh, you're going to arrest ICE cops. So who's not listening, not only to listening to judges, listening to the highest court in the land? Donald Trump? Is he going against what the Supreme Court said? Well, they're all his appointees. They're all right-wing Nazis. Sorry, that's how the system works. When one of them leaves or drops dead, he's well within his rights to appoint one. And they got to be approved. And that takes Democrats and Republicans. But bitch, that's all Rosie does from the Emerald Isle. Oh, she's like the leprechaun from the movie. Not the good one from the cereal box. The mean one. That one. She's like him. Oh, he's going to stay there. No, he's not. Relax yourself. Relax, Rosie. All right, back. More of your calls and a lot more of the Anthony Cumia Show coming up.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Let's hit the phones. The lovely Susan from Corning, New York. Susan.
Anthony, hey. Listen, I just think when talking about Mamdani's first big challenge here with the snowstorm, he has changed policies like from Rudy Giuliani and other mayors, because I've lived there for 40 years. And, you know, we've had cold snaps like this. I don't remember people freezing on the streets. I think it's up to like 12 people now.
15.
Now,
15, Susan, have frozen to death.
Oh, my God. This is an outrage. This is an outrage. He has changed, according to Rudy Giuliani, which is in the New York Post this week, that so Mamdani says he was going to soften up on raiding homeless encampments.
Right, encampments. Yep.
Well, actually, the people were frozen up because his policy is we won't take them, we won't force them off the street.
Right.
Unless they're a danger to themselves or someone else. Well, obviously, these people are not, they're not in their right mind. They have issues. So this has never happened in my 40 years unless it was just covered up or not reported. I'm just outraged because these people are sort of like children in a way. They can't.
Right. They're mentally ill people, Susan. This is what the homeless community, they like making believe that it's like a movie, like Will Smith is with his son and he gets ready in a gas station bathroom, puts his suit on, and then goes to job interviews because he's just fell through the cracks and he's trying to get ahead. This is the fantasy, the liberal fantasy version of homelessness. Truth be told, these are people so screwed up mentally that they do not know how to care for themselves. Unfortunately, a lot of them are military veterans who have seen a little too much, been through a little too much, drink a little too much, and they find themselves on the street homeless in 9-degree weather with a mayor who is enforcing his police force to grab these people that don't know any better and get them into some warmth. But he thinks that's something a dictator would do, telling the homeless, the unhoused, how they should live their lives. Will Smith knows what he's doing, even though he's homeless. So this crazy guy sitting in his own feces with half a foot, he knows too, right? Right.
It's outrageous. It's so sad that because it doesn't have to happen. And I think there was an article in the Post, I saw some of it, that Rudy gave, and in Bloomberg. And if anybody has any other ideas like this is normal, this is an outrage.
Yeah. All right, it's cold. It's cold up there, Susan. You grab some of that antifreeze and do a few shots for me. All right.
Yeah,
there you
couple
go. Prestone. Who needs Prestone? There you go. The great Susan. Rosie's great. I love listening to her yap. All these celebrities. I got Jane Fonda again. Of course, we heard that little poem from that little man, Peter Dinklage. But because it's Minnesota, who's come out of the woodwork? Who's come back on the grid from Baja, California? Jesse the Body Ventura. I never imagined there would be a time and place where I would look negatively at Jesse Ventura. I've been a fan for years. Really. Predator, I don't have time to bleed. It's just fantastic. When he was governor of Minnesota, now I'm Jesse the Mind. It was just a treat anytime he spoke. Don't even start with the WWF wrestling back in the old days with the feather boa. No one could talk and do a wrestling promo better than Jesse Ventura. Macho Man Randy Savage, of course. Those were the golden years of the wrestling promo. You think you could, you step up to me. I'll show you. It's just fantastic. And now he's just this doddering fool who thinks he's got the answers, but not quite. If you're backing walls, I can't give you the benefit of the doubt. I really can't. So let's listen to Jesse Ventura talk about Donald Trump and what's going on in Minnesota.
My advice to him, Tim Walz has had it tough. Yeah. During both his terms, he had the pandemic to deal with, and now he's got this to deal with. My position is hold tight, stand tough, and don't give this guy nothing. Because Donald Trump views any concession as a victory for him. And he needs to learn something, this draft-dodging coward, that Minnesota's not going to back down from him. He picked the wrong state to mess with because he's messing with Jesse the Body now. And we got some plans that I haven't said will happen yet, but he may be seeing me face to face.
What? Whoa. Oh, my God, King. Jesse Ventura is going to go with Donald Trump. I can't believe it. That's right, Donald Trump. I'm coming for you. What is he going to do? He's like, he's got the shaky thing going on, the old guy shaky thing. Here's another clip. Let's hear from Jesse, the Body, the Mind, the Man.
You got to remember, the last election was really a simple one, and I blame the United States people for this, too.
Ooh.
They're getting what they deserve. Because the last election was simple. You had the choice of the Constitution or the criminal. And for some reason, they took the criminal. So they shouldn't be surprised at what they're getting. He's a convicted sex offender. He don't pay taxes.
Wise.
He's a draft dodger, wouldn't serve his country, and yet he stands out there and preaches patriotism to us.
Not like me. I was a fighter, a Navy SEAL. I wore feather boas. I need denture cream. Doesn't it sound like my teeth are going to come flying right out of my head? That's how I won the belt back in 76. My teeth flew out.
What's he going to do? I feel bad for the guy almost. I guess he wants to still remain a little relevant.
I'm Jesse Dentura. I need denture cream. My dentures are flying right out of my head. The cold weather in Minnesota, it freezes my denture cream. And I hear this crack and my teeth go flying right out of my head. For God's sake, there they go.
Jesse the Body Ventura. He's got something planned, folks. I'm very, very excited. But here's why I'm a little skeptical. Jesse has always had these big plans, and he's going to do this, and then they always fizzle out at the end. He had a conspiracy theory show. I think it was called Conspiracy Theory. And he would always go to these places like Area 51 and Plum Island, the disease island off of Long Island. And the promos were so dramatic for these shows. Like, oh, my God, he's taking a boat.
We're almost to Plum Island. Once we dock there, I'm going to confront the head person and say, what are these diseases?
And then the cops on boats turn him around a mile out.
Well, I guess they didn't want to speak to the governor.
No, they didn't.
I'm here at Area 51. We're going to see UFOs and aliens. Oh, they're firing at me. Turn the car around.
All right. Maybe next time, Jesse. So him saying he's going to confront Trump, we could all have a good laugh, but I don't know what Jesse's doing. I love the guy, but I just can't get behind what he's saying. All right, folks, don't go nowheres. Back in a flash.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And scrolling through my X here, and Dead Boy checking in from Fort Worth, Texas. My good friend Chauncey Hayden. Might remember Chauncey Hayden from the old Howard Stern show. He's got a book out, Rebels, Rockers, and Icons. Go to Amazon. He's a good guy, Chauncey Hayden. Did a lot of articles on Howard, on myself and Opie when we were the Opie and Anthony show, and he's in Monaghan, Ireland. I'm sorry, Chauncey, that we exported our dopey actress Rosie O'Donnell over there. We do apologize. But, there's, plenty of ways to listen. Download the app or listen live on whatever station you're listening on. This is a syndicated show. Okay. Don Lemon, that's been a story that has had some legs to it. Don Lemon, of course, as we recall, Don was involved in that storming of a Christian church in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Don claims he was just an innocent journalist, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper. But Don Lemon said he was just being a journalist when he was directly involved with these people that stormed into a church, infringed upon the parishioners' rights to practice and worship their religion in that church. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no way you can spin this. They were not welcome there. They interfered and frightened and intimidated people that were practicing their religion. That's what happened. Now, as far as how involved Don Lemon was in this, there's plenty of video
where he says we're turning the camera and microphones off while we talk about how we're going to do this. Talking about a covert mission with the woman that was leading the whole thing, who was also arrested. So this, he was just along chronicling what was going on is bull, a lie. And I'm glad he was at least arrested for this. I don't have faith. I think he will. He's already been let go, awaiting whatever will come up, a trial, a deal, drop charges, whatever it is. They didn't have him post any bail. So I think they should indict this guy, try him, prosecute, and sentence him. Under the FACE Act, this guy infringed on those churchgoers' civil rights. Civil rights. And he's emboldened by the whole thing. I saw a clip earlier. He was at the Grammys, and he was introduced from the crowd, and they all stood up applauding. Yes, Don Lemon. That's how much they don't know or care about the actual Constitution. When they talk about how Donald Trump is tearing up the Constitution. Oh, my God. Donald Trump, he's treading upon it. And they don't even know what people's rights are. They want their rights at the expense of the rights of everyone that doesn't agree with them wholeheartedly and celebrate them. Those are the only rights they know about. When it comes to your right to practice your religion without being intimidated and harassed, and that's exactly what they were doing. And then they have no idea what the First Amendment's all about. Oh, we could say what we want. First Amendment. Yeah. And you're infringing on their First Amendment. So it don't work that way. You can't use your rights to infringe on another person's rights. That's basic. Constitution 101, dummies. So Don Lemon, he got arrested, and he was out in no time at all. And then he gets in front of a camera, and he's emboldened. He doesn't care because he probably knows nothing will happen to him. Again, I will reiterate, Donald Trump, the worst dictator ever. They call him a dictator, oppressive, tyrannical, a Nazi, Hitler reincarnated. The worst dictator ever. How could Don Lemon, an enemy of the state, if you look at Trump as a dictator, how does he get out of jail the same day? How is he allowed to then get on camera and microphone and just talk crap about the dictator? You think Joseph Stalin stood for crap like that? Mussolini? Chairman Mao? So let's listen to Don Lemon talking from his hideout. I guess he's hiding from the brown shirts that will surely do him bodily harm if they find him. Don?
I want to thank everybody for their support. It truly means the world to me. I have no idea what's going on because obviously I haven't seen anything. I have spent my entire career covering the news. I will not stop now. In fact, there is no more important time than right now, this very moment, for a free and independent media that shines a light on the truth and holds those in power accountable. Again, I will not stop now. I will not stop ever. Last night, the DOJ sent a team of federal agents to arrest me in the middle of the night for something that I've been doing for the last 30 years, and that is covering the news. The First Amendment of the Constitution protects that work for me and for countless of other journalists who do what I do. I stand with all of them, and I will not be silenced. I look forward to my day in court. Thank you all.
I look forward like he's some heroic journalist. I demand your sources. I will not give up my sources. It's a big difference from journalism and what you did. You weren't a journalist. Journalists aren't supposed to be part of the story. That's, again, journalism 101. You are separated from the story. You are an observer, a reporter, journaling what is going on. To get involved in something has been the conundrum of true journalists for so many years. There is a Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph from Africa, a starving child with a vulture waiting, just waiting for the kid to die. And it killed that photographer, that journalist, to watch that play out and take those pictures, because he felt it was necessary for people to see this. More necessary for people to see this, for him to be the impartial journalist, than it was for him to offer assistance to a child that was unassistable. Put it that way. It was over, Johnny. And that's journalism. When you're not part of a story where your humanity might want to intervene. And if Don Lemon thinks going along, planning, getting the information from people that are about to commit a crime, that is a crime. And you might dub yourself the journalist that's just in there observing and documenting. But if you know of an illegal plan and you're following them, and intimidating the parishioners and the other people in that church, the pastor in that church, you're guilty. Your journalism doesn't protect you in that case. So I don't think he's got much of a defense here. I think he's got an out because he's famous, he's black, and he's gay. That is a trifecta of I will not get in trouble. Jussie Smollett should have been thrown in jail. He should have gotten sentenced to time in jail for what he did. Oh, liberal, actor, black, gay. It's the greatest thing you could be if you don't want to get in trouble after you commit a crime. It's just the way it is. And, I was thinking the other day of sort of a similar situation. You could try to utilize that First Amendment, I'm a journalist thing. And you go into a bank with a camera and a microphone and be with the guy that's robbing the bank. Guy goes, I'm going to rob that bank. And you go, oh, hold on. Let me go in there with you. And you document the whole thing. But not only that, you pass the note. Can I pass the note to the teller that it's a robbery? I don't have a gun on me. I'll say the person next to me has a gun. And yeah, do that. And then when you're arrested, you go, wait, I'm a journalist. I was just documenting a bank robbery. I wasn't involved in it. What? No First Amendment anymore? I can't be a journalist that documents a bank robbery? People might go, oh, that's a little over the top, Anthony. Is it? They broke the law. They are under arrest for infringing on the civil rights of the parishioners and the pastor in that church. Obviously, it doesn't seem as bad you could judge for yourself as a bank robbery. But really, what's the difference? You're out in the parking lot. You plan it. The bank robber tells you what he's going to do. And you follow him in there. You involve yourself in some way. And then you leave, and your excuse is, I had a camera and a microphone on me, so I'm fine? Go screw. I want to see this guy sentenced, convicted and sentenced, but we won't. We all know how it works. So you ain't going to see that. And then the lovely and talented Jane Fonda, once again. It's all the usual suspects, isn't it? She comes forward and has to get her mug onto a camera and talk about the arrest of Don Lemon. Let's listen to Hanoi, not Fonda, Jane. Here we go.
Oh, I know Don Lemon. My husband created CNN, and I will fight for their right to speak, which is guaranteed in our Constitution. They arrested the wrong Don. Don Lemon.
I get it.
Is
Don
a professional
Cornelius.
journalist. He and his producer were doing their job.
Don
nothing
Knotts.
more, nothing less.
Don Adams.
And he's been arrested. And they'll make up all kinds of defamatory things to say about him. That's what they're doing. This is how autocrats act. We can't fall for it. We have to speak up. When a red line is crossed like this, we cannot be silent.
They believe it. They believe this crap. His freedom of speech in that church. I said, all I said was put the money in the bag and you won't get hurt. I don't have freedom of speech? I didn't have a gun on me. I wasn't robbing the bank. This guy was. I just went in and said, put the money in the bag and you won't get hurt. What? All of a sudden I can't speak my mind? I have no freedom of speech anymore? Yeah. I think I was screwing the guy from CNN. How long is she going to milk that one? Oh, Jane Fonda. Ugh. He committed a crime. I want to see him pay for it. I want justice. I was hearing about this justice, and everyone's screaming that they aren't getting justice. They are, by not getting special treatment. Justice doesn't mean that something good happens to you. When you commit a crime, you injure somebody, and then you scream, we want justice for this person. Yeah, going to jail is a form of justice. They throw it around like it only means, ice cream and cake. That's justice. We're looking for justice for this person. Yeah, so am I. A prison sentence would be just. That would be a just ending to what we saw. They've confused justice for getting off the hook. So, they need a little education is what it is. And if Don Lemon wants to use the excuse or the defense that he was merely a journalist documenting what was going on, what were the January 6th people that did nothing more than trespass, walk in, and have their phone out? And they took video. And they said, this election is a farce. And they're just marching with people in a place they weren't supposed to be in and speaking their mind and documenting it with their camera and microphone. Why was that worth 20 years in prison? Why was that worth a life sentence for some of these people? Why was it worth 5 or 4 years that they actually served in prison that they'll never get back? before Donald Trump pardoned them. That's worth that. Why can't they? You think if they said, well, we're just journalists, I was just documenting what was going on in the Capitol on January 6th that day, you think they'd have been like, yeah, where were all these liberals and Jane Fonda saying, well, these people are just documenting. They're journalists. Where were they? No, they're like, throw these insurrectionists in prison for 30 years. And they had their kangaroo court tribunal, and they threw people in prison for years and years. And what were they doing that was so bad? Were they infringing on people's rights? They were trespassing in the Capitol. Some of them were doing things worse than others, that's for sure. 20 years in prison worse? I didn't see any of that. I saw one of them get shot. This unarmed woman that wasn't endangering anyone get shot and killed. Unlike Renee Good, who was driving her car toward a federal agent. Unlike Alex Preddy, who had a gun on him and decided it was a good idea to take a gun to a protest and get into an altercation with federal agents. No. The hypocrisy is stunning. Stunning. Don Lemon deserves 20 years in prison if we're going off of the outline of what the Democrat liberals did to the January 6th people. All right, more in moments.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and thank you, everyone, for supporting this program. After that pesky Super Bowl next week, I think we can all agree that this is where you need to be on your Sunday evenings. Thank you so much. We got this audio from this Democrat lobbyist. When these congressional and Senate hearings happen and they put these people in front of them, back in the olden days, kids, let me tell you what it was like. They would play a little game of cat and mouse with each other, and it seems like they were prepared for the questions that were going to be asked of them, and they had a good answer to come back with. It has gotten to the point now where the Democrats are so insane that they just blurt out what they probably shouldn't say, whether it's blatant lies or they don't answer questions because their answer is so blatantly obvious. Yes, I'm doing something terrible. Yes, I'm doing something illegal. Yes, I'm trying to skirt around the Constitution and our laws and our values and ethics. So this was recently a Democrat lobbyist, and he's being asked about voters in Arizona. Should they be citizens? Should people in Arizona have to be citizens of the United States of America in order to vote in Arizona elections? Now, again, back in the olden days, this would not even be a question. If you asked this question, you'd be called an idiot and laughed and mocked. The bullies would pull your pants down and make you walk home with no pants on. But now, it's this great thing to do. Liberals will cheer you because you're just not answering the question, because you know it's so ludicrous that if you answered it, you'd look like an idiot. So they just choose to convolute it with all kinds of smoke and mirrors. Let's listen to this, and you tell me if this sounds like someone that should be put in a responsible position.
Do you believe that people should have to be United States citizens in order to vote in Arizona's elections?
I'm representing an organization, and I'm speaking to this bill. I've shared those sentiments.
Does the organization you're here representing believe that people should have to be United States citizens in order to vote in Arizona's elections?
That's a question that I'd have to go back for that very specific question to get the response, because I don't know.
Mr. Chair, that's not an answer.
It is not.
My name is Jody Lee. I'm here on behalf of Lucha.
Does Lucha believe that people should have to be citizens of the United States in order to vote in Arizona's elections?
I believe that I don't have an answer from that directly from Lucha. And I think certainly they believe all taxpayers should have access to democracy.
That was quite a word salad. People who are non-citizens who are working in Arizona, whether they're here legally or illegally, pay taxes. Does Lucha believe that non-citizens should be able to vote in Arizona just because they pay taxes?
I don't feel comfortable making a definitive statement on behalf of the organization.
Hi, sorry, Caitlin Contreras with the ACLU.
Is it the position of the ACLU that people should have to be U.S. citizens in order to vote in Arizona's elections?
It is the ACLU's position that voting should be fair and accessible and to everyone who is eligible.
That would be a U.S. citizen.
Can you even? It's infuriating to listen to that. I like this thing where they just ask the most direct, simple question. Do you think this? Do you believe this? And they just cannot answer because they know damn well that if they answered like they wanted to, they'd look like blithering idiots. Of course, they want non-citizens, illegal aliens voting. That's the whole game here, people. That is the entire thing. The illegal immigration issue, the deportation issue, the ICE out, Border Patrol, defund ICE, the protest, every single thing that you're seeing is because they want illegals voting. Don't for a second get caught up in they care. Don't for a second think, well, the Democrats must really care more about people because they care that these people become American citizens or that they just stay here, dreamers, all that nonsense. The whole thing is we want illegals voting because they vote Democrat. Period. End of sentence. Back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and I just was going through social media. The Grammys are tonight, you know. Ooh, so excited. Can't wait to see who won and the clothes. Yuck. Bad Bunny, who is slated to do the halftime show at the Super Bowl next week. Here he is accepting his award, and here's what he was saying.
I'm going to say, eyes out.
Woo! How brave. Standing ovation. Where are the natural disasters when we need them so much? I want to say, ice out. What? And they go wild. And this is, you know, the NFL decides he's your guy. He's your halftime show guy. And who's your audience for the Super Bowl? Nowadays, yeah, it's kind of everybody. But I mean, the guys, American men. And now it's just been bastardized and twisted and turned into this freak fest. Is he going to wear a dress? Is Bad Bunny going to wear a dress? Because he's a man. And if he wears a dress, that'll be crazy. Will it? Is that crazy anymore? Or is it just, ugh, we get it. It's lame. It's passé at this point. What statement are you making? I don't know how anyone watches professional sports anymore. Got to be honest. Every single one of them has been contaminated by all this nonsense we see on a daily basis that they try to shove down our throats at every turn. And you want a little recreation or you want to sit down and enjoy watching a dumb game. And they got to shove it in your face. I cannot imagine that the majority of football fans, people that watch the games every week, they got a team, they wear the shirts and the hats, that they are looking forward to Bad Bunny at halftime wearing a dress and saying, "Ice out." You think? Or is it just another place, another venue that they can go to that previously we enjoyed? We enjoyed watching football, the Super Bowl. And they're like, all they think about is, what can we screw up next? What can we shove our garbage into to force people that want nothing to do with this, but to force them to watch it and have that part of their lives now? So they get Jay-Z to pick the artist, and that's it. There's your halftime show. Years ago, they were halftime shows that were geared toward the majority of the people that would enjoy football. Rock bands, R&B's, fine. You know. Now, no one really, think about it. Football fans are even going to know who Bad Bunny is. I'm talking about your stereotypical football fans. Is that what they're listening to? I doubt it. Just another American institution that they could twist and pervert and screw up and annoy you by putting their square block into the round hole. I'm so disgusted. I just get disgusted. I'm sorry. I just get so disgusted. Let's see. Who do we got here? All right. Talk to Joaquin. What's up, man?
Hey, good evening, Anthony.
Boy.
You know something? Don, she'd call him Don Lemming, a.k.a. Lemony Snickets. And also, too, I wonder how many times Jesse Ventura was actually dropped on his head. I'm sure he's suffering from one of those injuries.
It does seem like, there were many times my head hit not just the mat, but the floor outside the ring. All right, Jesse, take a seat.
Yeah.
Put a cold ice on your head or something. Yeah.
There you go. Ice. Put some ice on it. There you go.
Yeah. Ice.
Getting back to this whole Epstein thing, and Virginia Giuffre, I have to think that, possibly Epstein, first thing is what concerns me the most is how was he actually killed? How was he murdered? And who did it?
Yeah.
Because this whole thing of trying to paint it as a suicide, this obviously, this is not the case because between the hyoid bone and the thyroid cartilage is being, having two fractures in it, they say it's not possible that could be a suicide. And in a place where this never happened before. So,
dude, let me just add in too to what you're saying there. The fact that we're seeing the most powerful names on earth are coming out in these documents. Now, again, whether it's true or not, or this or that, these are the most powerful names on earth coming out in these documents. And lo and behold, the guy gets arrested. There, obviously is going to be some type of trial, and things will be said under oath. And he just decides he's going to kill himself. And no one's watching this guy. And I don't mean a jailhouse suicide watch. I mean they're in the damn cell with this guy based on all the names that he could start talking about what these people have done. And he just, oops, whoa, we're sorry. We weren't watching. The cameras broke. That is such bull. It's such obvious bull. This guy was offed. You'll never sell me on anything else.
No, and also remember, too, allegedly, Bill Barr's father, was the one that gave him his first teaching job. So there's a connection there also. And it was alleged that Bill Barr's father was in the OSS, or at least, did some instruction there,
Right,
so
right.
Those names. But, the thing of it is though, every who's who and everyone is on that list. But I started thinking after a while that perhaps he was a pawn to get Trump. That's all that was. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had any issues.
Yeah, but they didn't realize,
that,
they didn't realize that in trying to get Trump, they can't keep all the other stuff quiet, and a lot of them are on that list too.
Right, but the interesting thing is this though, because allegedly Epstein could have exonerated Trump, and as a matter of fact, Virginia Giuffre, who also allegedly committed suicide, she also exonerated Donald Trump. So I'm wondering if he actually wasn't killed just to cast even more dispersions on Trump instead of being able to muddy up those waters.
Unfortunately, we'll never know. I mean, someone can blurt out the absolute truth and tell you exactly what happened, but it would just be tossed in the pile of, oh, but then there's this and this and this. And that is the strategy that people in positions of power have used forever, is that let's put this out there and that out there and make people not have faith in what they're seeing and hearing. And now we'll never know. We'll never really know what happened to Jeffrey Epstein. Did he kill himself? Was he murdered? Who he was cronies with? Who committed atrocities on his island? We just aren't going to know this because the people involved are way too powerful to allow us to know this. It's the bottom line.
Right. And also, too, when you're talking about Don Lemon and being a journalist and not being arrested.
Right.
Just remember, on January 6th, there was a journalist from The Blaze. I believe his name was Steve Baker. Okay.
Yep.
And allegedly he was there to report on things, and he got caught up with people that went inside, and he got arrested, and I believe he got convicted and possibly sent to prison, despite the fact that he said that he was only there as a journalist.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. If it's not their side, they don't care. Journalists, you're an insurrectionist. It's amazing. A journalist can become an insurrectionist, and an insurrectionist can be a journalist, and Don Lemon can be a journalist, and then he could be somebody infringing on other people's rights to practice their religion. It's amazing how they can just change everything at the drop of a hat. And then they run the mainstream media, so they're the one that has the big voice, and they're the ones that are convincing the lemmings out there and telling them what's real and what's fake. And that's why we see these protests and support for Don Lemon and Ice Out at the Grammys. It's all the same thing. Thank you, Joaquin. Appreciate the call. I appreciate the call. Oh, my God. We're just about at a break. I want to talk about the Virginia taxes. Oh, my God. I was talking to a gentleman from Virginia, over the weekend, and he's a conservative guy, and he's just beside himself. How the Democrats, liberal Democrats, insane liberal Democrats, got complete control of the state of Virginia. And what they've decided to do in days after they took power is frightening. And it should be a warning to the entire country what will happen if Democrats are allowed to get control of all three branches. We'll talk about that next. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show and Virginia, man. Oh, I feel bad for you. I ran down here to South Carolina to apparently just feel bad about a lot of other states in the union. We're not perfect down here, that's for sure. But I coming from New York, I can't imagine living in a state that isn't pretty solid red. And South Kakalaki is pert red down here. So I look at states like my former home, New York, and Virginia. Man, what happened? They elected this Abigail Spanberger as the governor, and then their Senate and Congress, it seems every politician in their state are Democrats. And they are wasting no time to start legislating these terrible, destructive laws, policies, regulations. Everything they want to do is so counterproductive to the American way. Work hard, have government out of your pocket, leave us alone, and we will make the state work. She took over on January 17th as governor. They have all the power they need to start really screwing things up. And if you're in Virginia, here's what you have to look forward to. Additional local sales tax in all Virginia counties. They're going to raise those taxes. What was it? Virginia Democrats are proposing a 4.3% tax on rideshare tips and an additional 1.9% tax on top of that for trips to Northern Virginia. So ride sharing, things like that, Uber, they're taxing the crap out of that. New personal property tax on electric leaf blowers and electric landscaping equipment. You want to buy yourself a leaf blower? There you go. Cha-ching. You're at Home Depot. You look at your receipt. There'll be a tax on there. Large employer tax. They will penalize companies that are able, that have been blessed with leadership and product and ingenuity and the ability to hire a lot of people. And they will penalize them with higher taxes. Large employer tax. Wow, you're employing a lot of people here. Let me take more of your money. New income tax brackets, of course, where, by the way, everyone who is working will be labeled wealthy and rich and have to do their fair share. Gun and ammunition tax. You like your Second Amendment? You like buying guns, having the best tool available to protect yourself and your loved ones? You want ammunition, so it's not just a paperweight? You're going to pay liberal Democrats for that privilege. And then, by the way, all the money they're taking for all the things I'm talking about will be used for ridiculous, wasteful, liberal projects. You buy a few rounds of ammunition, some of that money will go to feed, house, and clothe illegals. Yeah, I'm not lying. Delivery tax, which would hit Amazon, Uber Eats, FedEx, UPS, and orders in Northern Virginia. Investment income tax. I mean, these are things that happen all the time. They jack these things up. You're just trying to make a few bucks for your retirement. You want to invest your money. You want to make money with your money. Well, we're going to dip into that too. No getting their grubby hands out of your pockets, especially in Virginia. Event tax. You want to go to a concert? You want to go to a tractor pull? They got their hand out. Gotta feed and clothe those illegals. Storage facility. You got a house, you're moving, you need to store some stuff. Oh, they want some of that. How about gym membership tax? You want to get healthy? You want to feel better? You want to spend less time and money in a doctor's office? Well, that's going to cost you. Old Virginia is putting their hand out for that. I don't even know what this is. A dog walking tax. A dog grooming tax. Counseling tax. What are these? Digital personal property tax. So if you own something digitally, what, like cryptocurrency? Are they trying to say digital personal property tax? I don't know. I would assume they want to tax your digital personal property, where I can't see that not being cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. New car taxes and highway use fees. Don't you already pay taxes for the highways? But, you have to be absolutely sure that no matter what, they will be stealing your money. And by the way, I don't think I have to remind anybody at this point that every penny that you're giving them for these taxes has already been taxed. Federally and statewide. They've already taken their cut. And now you have whatever's left. And the second you pull it out to buy anything else, they have their grubby mitt out there looking to get it. Increase in the hotel tax in Arlington. Statewide speed cameras. Not a tax, but more fines for drivers. It's a tax. It's a tax. What do you think? You think they're doing that to keep their people safe? If it was to keep their people safe, they wouldn't tax your gym memberships. That's making you healthy, a more productive Virginian. If they cared about you speeding because speed causes more accidents and hurts more people, then why would they tax your gym membership for also doing something to keep you in good health? Because it's not. It's a tax. They know people will drive fast. They just want to make money off of it. Vehicle repair tax. Now, the garage is going to charge you anyway. They're going to charge you a tax because they have to pay their income tax. So they pass it to you. That's been the way of doing business for years. But now there'll be more money that you have to pay to them to get your vehicle fixed. Home repair tax, same thing. Everything but a damn dry cleaning tax. Oh, wait, there it is, the dry cleaning tax. You can't dry clean your clothes without the state of Virginia getting their mitts in on it. It is disgusting. Disgusting. And if you don't take this as your ability to view a little microcosm of the future, what the future will look like under a Democrat president, a Democrat House, and a Democrat Congress, if you don't look at this and know that that is what they will do at a federal level, you're out of your mind. And that's just the taxes. All the other stuff will be even more insane, shoving it down our throats. But financially, this is what they want to do. This is their plan. Good luck, Virginia. Oof, back in a moment. Oh, it's 28:30. I was right on time, a minute early. Oh, the clock. Yeah. What are the Virginians supposed to do? You can't save your money. You can't invest it. You can't even buy things you like. You just have to fork your money over to them. And this is part and parcel with living in a blue state. And then if you live in a city that's also Democrat-run and a blue city, I don't know why you would live there. And they move to red states and red cities because the taxes are too high, and then they do the exact same thing they did in these blue states. All right, now stick around. We'll be back.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Let's go to David in Jersey. What's up, David?
Hey, thank you for taking my call, Anthony.
Certainly.
You said a lot of things I agree with. And as an honorably discharged non-combat naval veteran, for all veterans, God bless you guys. Welcome home, and women, God bless you all.
Absolutely.
I appreciate your sentiments about Hanoi Jane. Whenever I have a few bottles of calories, I always give Hanoi Jane those calories right back. And I wanted to add that it's been over a year. The persecutor of George Zimmerman is either incompetent or is colluding. The persecutor of George Zimmerman kept George Zimmerman in jail until his acquittal.
Who was that,
George
Pam
Zimmerman,
Bondi?
That's right, the gun grabber, Pam Bondi. Where are the indictments on Russiagate? Dan Bongino, I encourage you, Anthony, to interview him. That's even if he can talk. He's probably had to sign a non-disclosure. But
yes.
gun-grabbing Pam Bondi, Russiagate, don't give me the land of 10,000 Somali mudholes, welfare fraud as the basis to justify no indictments on Russiagate and everything else under the sun. Where are the indictments? And as for that Klan, I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly here because, you know, we saw what was going on before Trump was elected this last time. We hoped and prayed Trump would win so we would start seeing some of these indictments on these unbelievable, obvious crimes that were being committed by the Biden administration and all the periphery of the liberal Democrats. And then what do we see? Nothing.
Well, I wish to reiterate that point for everyone listening, and I would encourage you, Anthony, if you can, please interview Dan Bongino, and if you can't get Dan Bongino for an interview, please interview David Codrea, Codrea. He was the man who helped break Operation Linebacker, also known as Fast and Furious. And on a funny note, if I may, can I tell a quick, clean joke, Anthony?
I hope it's clean, David. Go ahead.
Oh, of course. You got to remember one thing about me. If it hadn't been for my limp-wristed daddy, where would I have been to get to? That brings me to the point. Hey, where?
All right. All right. That was David. David, my David. You'd all be dead if it wasn't for my David. Yeah. Anyway, Hakeem Jeffries. Again, I was making the point that there is no other reason for everything the left is doing concerning illegal immigration than votes. Had to sneeze, sorry. There's no sneeze button here. There's no other reason. They want illegals in this country to vote. They say as much. They don't even cover it up. We want illegals in here. We want to stop ICE. And then with the next breath, they're saying we don't want IDs for voting. We want illegals to be able to vote in elections. What other conclusion can anyone draw than this is the entire motivation for their stance on illegals, and for what they did during the Biden administration, letting in a record number of illegals into this country. And I played a clip of that, of those Democrat lobbyists saying that, they wouldn't answer the question, should you be a legal citizen of the United States to vote in an Arizona election? They would not answer this. Well, here's Hakeem Jeffries, and he was asked about the SAVE Act. Now, the SAVE Act is there would be a requirement to provide identification and proof that you are indeed a United States citizen in order to vote. Again, years ago, this would be, why are you asking me this? Of course, that's what we do. But again, more proof that it's all about the votes. Listen to the wisdom of Hakeem Jeffries.
Leader Jeffries, what do you make of Anna Paulina Luna talking about attaching the SAVE Act to the DHS funding bill when it comes back to the House with the amendments made for DHS?
That's not happening. The reality is, what's in front of us right now is that ICE needs to be dramatically and totally reformed. Big changes are needed.
Reform means eliminate
and transformative. Period. Full stop.
So do you support the SAVE Act? The SAVE Act voter ID for elections? Do you support that?
We support dramatic changes to the manner in which DHS has been conducting itself. Taxpayer dollars should not be used to kill and brutalize American people and to violently target law-abiding immigrants. It's not a controversial position.
Law-abiding
it's a position
immigrants.
that the overwhelming majority of the American people hold, including apparently now the NRA.
No, it's not.
What about the FBI raid in Fulton County?
NRA.
Are you concerned any fraud's going to be uncovered there?
Donald Trump continues to want to litigate the fact that he lost the 2020 election. I don't understand how he thinks this is going to help his position, which is failing before the American people.
And it's not litigating the fact that he lost the 2020 election. It's let's look into all of the shenanigans that were going on in the 2020 election. They all like using that word debunked. Oh, that was all debunked. Nothing was looked at. And as the years go by and more people do start peeking at what went on in 2020, they're seeing stuff. It at least deserves a closer look, but they're just like, nope, don't even look at it. And Hakeem won't address the prospect of IDs to vote. Won't even look at it. Nope, we're not doing that. And then he goes right to, no, Department of Homeland Security and ICE needs to be revamped. So he denies he denies any prospect of having identification for voting, proving you're an American citizen. And right there, right after saying that, and ICE has to be revamped, he means eliminated. They don't want to fund it. They're pissed that they can't defund it, but they certainly don't want to give ICE and Homeland Security and Border Patrol any more money. What more does it take for you to do a simple calculation and have it add up to they need illegal aliens to vote for them? And then they lie. The majority of the country wants this. Who? I don't know anybody. I haven't heard from anyone. The minority of mental patients are the only people I hear screaming and yelling in opposition of what ICE is doing. Millions of illegals got into this country. Millions have to get out. How do you propose that? By eliminating ICE and the Border Patrol? The only people actually doing anything about it? By standing firm beside states and cities that refuse to even mention that they are holding an illegal alien in a jail cell and that maybe ICE should get involved? How is that going to drive the number of illegals down? And then they say, we're law and order. We want to make sure that people that are here are legal. And by making all the illegals legal. That's what they want to do. And that certainly is not the majority of Americans. I assure you that is not the majority of Americans. It is so blatantly obvious what their motivation is here. It is absolutely to get illegal aliens in those voting booths, pulling that lever for Democrats. Because they know damn well that true Americans, the true, real American voters in this country, when given a fair election that isn't tampered with and doesn't have a roll call of illegals on it, that real Americans will win every time. We don't want what they're doing in this country. So I guess I got to celebrate Black History Month. It just started today. Happy Black History Month, February for everybody. Isn't it also something gay? I think February is also something gay. I have to look. Nakima Levy Armstrong. She was also arrested for the church storming. Don Lemon became kind of the figurehead for that whole thing, but she's the one that organized this whole thing, and she was arrested. There were some federal agents that paid her a visit, and they had a warrant, and they gave it to her, and all of a sudden warrants weren't good anymore. All they've been bitching about is that ICE doesn't have warrants. Where's your warrant? What's your name and badge number? What are you doing? The world is watching. And now they go to arrest this woman for infringing on churchgoers' rights. And she asks for a warrant. They show her, and she's like, oh, that isn't good. That isn't a good warrant. So, nothing's good enough. So let's listen to what Nakima Levy Armstrong equates her arrest to. She actually draws a similarity between her arrest and some other historical thing that we had in this country. Let's listen.
We had belly chains around our waist, and we had handcuffs with bars in the middle. As someone who majored in African American studies, I can tell you that is the closest I ever felt to slavery in my life. Being shackled as if I was a slave. It is unacceptable and unconscionable, but it's on brand for a while.
Come on. Do you know how many videos you could pop up of people of every conceivable color, race, ethnicity, religion, wearing shackles, handcuffs that aren't the little chains? It's a solid bar between the handcuffs, because people get a little crafty when they're transporting prisoners on buses, and you got a lot of prisoners. It looks like Con Air, But, of course, Nakima Levy Armstrong, because she was treated, by the way, equally. She got equal treatment that people get when they're arrested on a federal charge and transported. They are shackled and put in different hardware than the local police taking you to the precinct for a DWI or something like that. She's complaining about equality. And what's the first thing her mind is drawn to? Slavery? Really? I love how people will pull up genuine atrocities, genuine moments in history that were incredibly cruel and try to equate that with an inconvenience because they want to utilize that race card or ethnicity card or religion card. And Nakima Levy Armstrong did that with just great talent as a black woman who has to, of course, the first thing that comes to her mind is slavery, not I've committed a federal crime, I am under arrest, and this is how they transport federal criminals, irregardless of color. Jesus Christ. So that was Nakima Levy Armstrong. Here is Eli Mistal. He's the black guy that's got the white afro, and he goes on the news shows and claims every single thing is racist. Everything. Systemic racism. Meanwhile, one of the richest couples, billionaire couples in this country are Beyonce and Jay-Z. But we have a systemically racist country. So here he is, and he equates Don Lemon's arrest to some historical instance. I'll let you try to guess what it is. Let's listen to Eli.
It is an expression of white supremacy. And so when I look for constitutional justification for these arrests, it's obviously not in the Constitution. It's obviously not in the Constitution anymore. Because there was something in the original Constitution that would have allowed them to arrest a black journalist like Don Lemon. And that was called the Fugitive Slave Clause in Article 4 of the original Constitution, which allowed the government to reclaim escaped property should that property have successfully made it to a free state.
How, in your wildest hallucination, could you equate Don Lemon being arrested for going into a church, intimidating parishioners, and a fugitive slave from the 1800s or the late 1700s? I don't know how you make that leap. Because I didn't think he'd go as far as to start talking about escaped slaves and slave patrols and people trying to get them because they're property and what Don Lemon was arrested for. That is a reach. That is a reach. But that was my little contribution to Black History Month. I hope you enjoyed it. It's just any of the cards that are played by people, it's old hat now. Don't use the race card, the religion card, the ethnicity card, the I want to wear my hair insane and sit at a reception desk where everyone comes in and sees me as the first representative of this company wearing a molded helicopter out of my hair. All the cards that are being played, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. We are truly the most equal country on the face of the earth. But I've said it many times, people hate equality, especially people that perceive themselves as being oppressed. They scream for justice and equality. And the second they are treated as equal and not as special, they lose their minds and claim that they're being oppressed. And there's systemic racism or Islamophobia or anti-Semitism or whatever it might be. True equality stinks because it means people could call you anything they want and criticize your work and everything else. So, Eli, good one. Back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and as we finish up this evening's show, we'll continue with Chicago Mayor Johnson. He seems to believe that a mayor of a city, hey, it's a pretty big thing, especially if you're the mayor of a city like Chicago. But to think that gives you the legal power to defy the President of the United States and his legal orders to his federal law enforcement agencies is insane and delusional and completely in line with what Chicago Mayor Johnson has been about his entire career. This guy's not very bright. And here he is talking about how he will defy ICE and have his cops, I guess he's talking about the Chicago Police Department, making sure ICE is kept in check. Let's listen to Mayor Johnson.
We need to send a clear message. If the federal government will not hold these rogue actors accountable, then Chicago will do everything in our power to bring these agents to justice. Yes. As part of this order, our police department will document ICE and Border Patrol activity and attempt to identify officers on the scene. Yeah. This evidence will then be preserved and, at the direction of my office, will be referred to the state's attorney's office for potential prosecution. The Trump administration has made it clear that they do intend to return to our city in force in the coming spring. This order is a step towards making sure that Chicago is prepared. We will continue to learn from and work with other cities across the country as we all confront this moment. Finally, as Dr. King predicted more than 60 years ago, Chicago can serve as a model of nonviolent resistance that has the power to arouse the conscience of the nation. And so today, we see a full manifestation of the consciousness of our nation coming to life by way of the greatest city in the world, the city of Chicago.
Chicago can serve as a model of resistance. Oh, my God, what a dope. First of all, you have no authority, none authority to do that. And then if you listen close, he's trying to sound tough, but he says that that Chicago will keep an eye on ICE, and that his police will monitor and document what ICE is doing. So what, like all the dumb protesters, they're going to be out there, you're going to have your cops, instead of rounding up gang members that are stacking bodies on a weekly basis, you're going to have your cops with little cameras making sure ICE is treating everyone nice? That's what he said. Monitoring ICE, identifying ICE agents. You're going to utilize your police resources in order to try to catch ICE doing something, instead of utilizing your cops to do what Chicago needs to do. Gangs. Making sure gang members aren't blasting each other's heads off every week. But it's more important to go after agents that are doing their jobs legally as per the Supreme Court of the United States of America. And you'd rather your cops be tailing them, tiptoeing around, trying to catch them doing something nefarious. Oh, is this guy a blithering idiot? Chicago, you went from Lori Lightfoot to this guy. And it almost seems like that was a mistake. Like you should have kept her in there. She was an idiot. When will these big Democrat cities realize how badly they are screwing up by putting these idiots into office over and over and over again? This guy is an idiot. He's not a smart guy. And you put on top of that he's got some racial agenda. And there you have it. There's your Chicago. Bodies piling up. And his police, he wants looking at federal agents doing their jobs. Bravo. Great job, Mayor. Now you got New York with Mamdani. He's got his little snow shovel, and he's shoveling out a neighbor for one of these down-home video segments. And meanwhile, no New Yorker could get anywhere. 10-minute drive takes an hour and a half because you haven't been able to get your sanitation department to work to get rid of the garbage and the snow. This is it. Virginia, with your Democrat governor and your Democrat politicians running the state. There's going to be a tax. Oh, yeah, you paid that tax? There's a tax on that. It wouldn't be ridiculous for what we saw. These are Democrats. This is what a Democrat-run city and state looks like. And you will see it federally if you let them slip a foot in the door and get in there. The unbelievable pain we will feel. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Anthony Cumia on X if you want to see what I'm up to during the week. And I appreciate it. Appreciate your tuning in to this very program. Thanks to everybody up there in New York running the show. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to The Anthony Cumia Show. You can hear The Anthony Cumia Show Sunday nights at 8. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?